Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hope you're doing good. Any questions from our previous sessions?
No, not really.
Okay. So, in line to what we were doing yesterday, we'll just pick up the training curriculum and see through what we've done. Okay, to begin with, like yesterday we saw that how do we create QEDs, and after the QED creation, we loaded the tables into ClickView. So while we loaded it in ClickView, so we understood that, okay, so ClickView automatically makes the association. Suppose you don't have any associations created and you load two tables with common field names, the association is by default. So there is no other association that will happen. So here we have one field name common between two tables. A QED optimized load is done, and the association is created. Now, using this type of association itself, what we do is we basically go ahead and create multiple. I mean, we load all the tables and make sure we have all these kind of associations. Now, over here also, this is a data modeling file. So this is the data modeling state. If you have any aggregated QEDs, you would have done it in an earlier stage. So over here, you just plain Jane, you upload the QEDs. But while uploading the QEDs, you might definitely have some kind of requirements where you would want to do in some transformations, like the online order flag that I demonstrated. So this is mainly a typical transformation where you want online order flag. If online order flag is equal to 1, you want it online, else store, right? As online flag. Now with this, the optimization breaks, but you achieve the transformation. So for smaller files, if the optimization breaks, it's okay. But for larger files, you have to make sure that optimization is intact. So the optimization breaks while you do any kind of transformation, except for writing an alias. So if you rename a field, it won't break. Or if you use where exist, we'll come to where exist. Even if you use a where clause while loading data from ClickView, QED file, it will break. So the optimization is gonna, gets and becomes an unoptimized load basically. Now these transformations, like I said, can be anything. Over here you can comment out fields, drop out fields. The best practice is make sure you have all the field names in the script. Suppose this is the table, right? Sales order header. You have uploaded this table. The best practice or for like the best methodology would be load the table as is, like have all the fields. Suppose you realize that you don't need, for the first few analysis or the first time build, you don't need so many all these fields. So don't delete them or don't hide them, just comment them, so that tomorrow you realize that you need this field. You don't have to redo the like selecting of QED or trying to search whether the file is, whether the field is there in the QED, whether the field is there in the database. Suppose it's like a new field altogether in the database and you have to bring it, then you'll have to do the exercise all over of selecting the QED, selecting the file, selecting field. But unless it is existing, I would suggest best practice is to rename it so that you can reuse it in the future. So all you'll have to do is at that point of time come back and uncomment it. So this is one of the best practices. Now let's bring in couple of more QEDs. So here you can preview the data, what is there in the data, how you want it, so which are the fields you want. So otherwise you just bring, like I said, bring in everything. Now I've got two tables, one is product, one is territory. So what I can do is quickly load them. So there's so many multiple loops. Okay. Now this is another condition where apart from synthetic keys, you might get this kind of error messages also. You have one or more loops being detected in your database structure. So what happens is, once you load the tables, right, there might be a loop which can be created. The reason being, so here sales territory has 4 fields common with, like yeah, it has the 3 fields common with these two tables, product, sales order. It has the common fields. Now these fields are in turn product and sales order header, and sales order header and sales order detail are linked internal, or basically linked because of the product ID and sales order ID. They both are in turn linked to sales territory because there are a lot of common fields. So a synthetic table is formed in between. Now the logic over here is, I mean, look at the loop. Suppose if you have to select a product ID, okay, you select a product ID. For that product ID, you select all the territories. For those territories, you select the sales order details. For those sales order details, again you select a couple of products. Then again those products, product ID based on that territory ID. So the loop keeps going on. So this is a very, I mean, this is a big no in ClickView. So obviously you can't have loops, not only in ClickView, any database modeling kind of a scenario, unless you're not loading them. But in ClickView, it's more associative in nature, so you definitely can't have them. So you'll have to resolve these loops. Again, loops are like, just like synthetic keys, they're a big no. So you can see that those dotted lines indicate nothing but, I mean, these are completely big loop. Only method to resolve it is like we saw in the synthetic key, is the same process. Either drop the tables, drop the unwanted fields, rename the unwanted fields, composite keys, or you can do joins. Suppose you're looping over here, sales territory is a table required. The data in sales territory is required in sales order header. But if I don't resolve it, it's still it will be like a loop. Instead of, maybe I can't delete the columns, I can't reduce the columns, or I can't find a right key. So what I can do is I can just left join the sales territory to sales order header, so that I'll have one table. So there are different methods, of doing it. So we'll see the joins in some time. But first we'll try to resolve it with the first 3 steps. Drop unwanted fields, remove unwanted fields. So in sales territory, we'll go ahead and drop row GUID and modified date, because this is generic for all the tables, which we don't need it. Then product also will do the same thing. Once we have done this, what else? Yeah, name of territory name, right? Name and product name. So both are both the fields have the same name. It's called as name only. So what we'll do is we'll rename that. So over here, we'll take this name as territory name and product name as product name. Now there are no loops, there are no synthetic keys. Now if you look at it, my fact remains the sales order header, and technically both put together form the fact, but for now, I mean, because this is not causing me a lot of trouble, I've kept them separately. The dimension product ID and the sales territory become the dimensions. Right, I have the territory name, region code, region. Over here I have the product ID, product. So like this, I'll have to resolve these issues, resolve loops and synthetic keys. So any good, the best or the actual ClickView data model is where there is no synthetic key, there should be no loops, absolutely. Then we'll try to bring in a couple of more QDs, customer and person. I'll bring in both same place because I have the customer name, customer ID. I need the customer name, right? So I might need that. Or here, I know for a fact that this is my customer table. In my customer table, I have the territory ID which the customer belongs to. I have the account number of the customer. But in my sales order header also, I have the account numbers. This is very obvious, and the territory ID. I might not want the customer territory ID or account number. Or if you want it for any audit purpose, you can just say it as customer territory ID, account number as customer account number. I definitely don't need this row GUID and modified it. I can eliminate them. Now in the persons table, what does the person table? Person table has only 4 things. One is the ID, business entity ID, first name, last name, middle name, title. That's all it has. Now over here you have this person ID. This is nothing but the business entity ID. But over in the customer table it is named as person ID. I just have to link it so that I get the name of the customer. So I'll link this over here and I'm good to go. Right, most of everything, though I've used so many alias names, it is still QED optimized. So customer is 19,820. From the person table we have 19,971 records. Based on the association, we'll get the first name. Now if you look at our data model, sales order header is here, its sales order detail is here, customer is here, person is here, and product is here. This forms a snowflake schema. I can join the sales order header and detail and make it a single fact, but I will choose not to do it. The reasons we'll understand while we are doing a couple of the other functionalities. There are a lot of data warehousing challenges that can be quickly overcome in ClickView or can have a very easy solution in ClickView. So yeah, data warehouse also you can have better solutions, but in ClickView it is more easy and quick rather than just going through a long complicated process. So with this I have all this updated. Now let's take the sales table. I'm getting the territory ID, right? I'm getting the sales data for all the tables. Sorry, for all the territory IDs. Now let's filter some data. So let's see how do we write where clause. When we are loading data from QEDs, how do we reduce data? Now simple, just like how you do SQL statements. After the from statement, from QED, you write a where clause, where territory ID is equal to 1. or say territory ID is equal to 2, 3. You save it. What happens is you reload it. So if you look at it, sales order header data, only 352 lines were loaded. Otherwise, it's generally 31,000 or 35,000 records will come. But because we have filtered for territory 4, only 300 records came in. So our where clause is working. But what happens is, so if you look at it here, in the sales order header, I have got the like territory 4 only, the data for territory 4 only. Okay, I pass the territory 2. I think, okay, whatever, I've got only one territory, but in my territory, sales territory ID, I have not restricted, right? So all the 10 territories from the master file is uploaded. So all the 10 territories from the master file I've uploaded. Now I have to restrict this, right? Make sure that, okay, I don't upload all the data, all the master data that is not required. So in my, what I'll have to do is put this where clause twice. Okay, it's territory 2 what I have given. I'll have to pass this same where clause in the territory 2 also, and save this and reload it. So what happens is now my master data from the attributes also only one territory will be there because I've used the where clause. Now this is a normal where clause that you would want to do in any scripting. So if you want to add any other territory, so you want to add multiple territories, same process like the normal scripting, or territory is equal to 4 or territory is equal to 5. So you'll have to keep adding or. So when you have one drawback is you don't have the in condition, like how you have, there's no function called wherein like the SQL statement. Sorry, yeah, Mark, I didn't understand what was the question. Yeah, from the QEDs it is always a full refresh. So even if you have 1 billion records, when you do like you do any update, so you'll have to reload the entire thing. So in ClickView, in the QEW, well, it depends on what data you're loading and how it is. So you'll have to do the testing and see how much time it takes. It differs. It depends on the transformations also you apply on those 1 billion records. Mark asked the question whether do we have to reload every time? Yes, we'll have to reload every time in the QEW file when you're reading it from the QED. So from the database, like I said, you can build a intermediate at the QED stage incremental load, but at the QEW you'll have to do it. Yeah. No. QEW is always a full reload from the QED, right? I think in my experience, like 1 billion records will take you around 2 to 3 hours without any transformations. If it is a simple data, if it is a complicated data, it depends. So it's like very subjective in nature, the reload time. So what data, which source, what is the network speed, where is the data stored, and all those things, all those external factors like are required. I mean, or depend on, influence the reload time basically. So if your network is slow, obviously the loads will be very slow. If your database is very complicated or which doesn't take, which has its own limitation as to not to allow faster extraction, then it takes really slow. Then 1 billion will take a day or two. So it depends on all those factors. If your database is really fast, if it is in QED, yeah, that should take about 2 or 3 hours for you to load it, or less than that if I'm right. $1 billion records will not even take, I think it will be less than an hour. So it should not be. If all your transformation, all your data modeling, everything is done, it's just that you want to extract it from the QEDs. I think 1 billion records would not take you more than an hour. 10 billion, yeah, 10 billion might be a couple of hours. So you'll have to do the testing once. So you can just load some couple of, probably try to load 1 billion and test it. Now coming back to our where clause, like we were, yes, reload is always full. So coming back to our where clause, what we were trying to do was trying to see how do we restrict data in it. Now this is a typical challenge as to like writing an OR statement every time, right? So if you want to change this, then it becomes too challenging. And if you look at the overall thing, right? So you have the sales order header. I'm bringing in 3 territory IDs. Okay. So when we loaded territory 2, you saw only 300 records that came in from sales order header. And the 300 records, like you have to bring the sales order detail records matching to those 300 records, right? But it doesn't happen. So though my records are 7,000, my sales order detail records are intact. So it's like, it's still getting the full records, 1 to 1. And then sales territory, because I've just put 1 clause, it is coming 1. All the others, the data is not filtered completely. It is just filtering one table. So the method that you employ while SQL querying is maybe you do a left join to reduce data, or you try to put where in clause where you pick up those sales order IDs from there and restrict it over there, and do a lot of other like querying or mashing up of query. Now, if you look at it, in ClickView, what they have done is they have made it even more simpler. So like I said, this, if you use the where clause, it's very complicated. There's no where in option, but if you look at the ClickView options that are available, it is very easy to do what we are trying to do. Now I have, okay, what I'll do is I'll begin with this. First I have loaded where clause. I'll just do the territory 2. Okay. I have done where territory ID is 2. So this table is going to give me all the records which have territory ID 2. Now in my sales order detail, I want to bring the sales order IDs only that are there for this, that are available in sales order header. So ClickView has brought in a innovative kind of, or a keyword which helps this. It's called as where exist. It's a very important and a very commonly used function. Suppose I use where exist sale order ID. Now you know that the script is executed sequentially. So it goes from the top, from the main tab, it goes sequentially. It will load the sales order header. Now once the data is in memory, right, when you load sales order header, ClickView won't store this as a table. So it will store it as separate columns. So individual columns become, like sales order header becomes one column. It will have only the unique values. Territory ID becomes a column. It will have only the unique values. It's basically a columnar methodology in the memory. What that helps is all the sales order ID, right, will be unique. So there'll be 300 records, 300 sales order ID, and it's a column in the memory. Now while it is loaded, when it comes to the second table, sales order header is already in the memory. When I do where exists sales order ID, it will match, or it will bring data only that is matching to the existing sales order ID in the memory. So the first table is loaded. The existing sales order ID in the memory are the sales order IDs from that table. So when the 300 are loaded, the second load, when I use where exists sales order ID, it will match that 300 records and bring those values over here. So that way I can filter it out immediately. Now in the territory, I don't have to write this where clause again. Okay? I don't really have to write where territory ID is this. I just have to write where exist territory ID. So it will bring only those territory IDs that are there in the memory. Right? In my first table, I'm filtering it by territory 2. So only territory 2 is in memory. So it will match the territory 2 and bring it. Now while I'm bringing only 300 records, I want to bring the customer IDs, only 300 customer IDs that are matching to that. So what I can do is in the customer table, I can put up a where exist customer ID. Now in the person table, I want to bring only the persons which are basically there, right? I don't want to bring other persons. So what I can do is I'll do a where exist person ID over here. Okay, now while I do this syntax, right, the syntax is simple. Where exist, you have to just put the field name. Now the field name should be exactly the same what is there in the statement. Suppose over here you have the sales order ID. So in the second table it is sales order ID. Territory, it is in the second table territory ID. So in the over here also, while I'm doing customer ID, the source table or the table that I'm loading second, that also has customer ID. But in this case, it has business entity ID. I can't use an alias name in where exist. So that is one limitation. You can't use an alias name in customer ID. So now if I do where exist business entity ID, TQ will not know. It will not consider this because business entity ID is not there in the memory, right? It is person ID that is there. So in these scenarios, you'll have to do a little workaround so that where exist works. You'll have to do, just do it the other way around. Instead of naming this as person ID over here, name this as business entity ID. So now in memory, when the customer table is loaded first, in memory, it's business entity ID. When you do where exist business entity ID, it will filter the data. Person A, you have anyways, you have a first column which says person ID. It doesn't matter. This is just a key to link both tables. That's all. Now what will happen is, okay, and the product also, you'll have to put a filter for the product. You just have to bring the products related to those customers or sales order. So you just put where exist. Now this entire, all the tables will get filtered based on this where clause. So I filter territory ID 1. All the others will get filtered based on the records that come up first. So if you look at it carefully, 3,500 records came in. Only 5,000 records were matching to these 352 that came in. Only one sales territory was matching because it was sales territory ID 2. It came in. Only 246 products were there in these 352 sales order ID. So only 246 products came in. And customer, only 57 customers of the 352 sales order ID, only 57 came in. Person ID, only 57. So this way I achieved without writing any where clause anywhere, right, or overloading. So it's a typical like a development methodology. Wherever you use where clause, be it SQL, be it any querying language, where clause are very heavy and very costly. So they actually delay the reload time. But where exist is a very optimized kind of load in QlikView, which is very fast than where clause. So it is always preferred. And if you observe, when I use the where clause in the first table, right, in the sales order header, the QED optimization broke. So whenever you use any transformation, even be it where clause, optimization will broke. If you alias a name or if you use a where exist, the QED optimize is still intact. So though I have used where exist, I'm using a where clause to reduce data, which is where exist, still the QED optimization is there. So these are few optimization techniques which generally developer overlook at it. So when they're loading data from QEDs or QlikView files, right? So they go ahead, write transformations, they write quickly where clauses, everything. That breaks the QED optimized load, and there is a marginal or like a noticeable difference in the load times. So when you do performance tunings or optimizations, this is the main thing that you'll have to look at it. And it can be a trick question in your interviews also. They will ask you what is QED optimization load. what are the advantages and how would you, like, what would you do or what things are okay to do while having a QED optimizer. So there are only two things that you can do without breaking QED optimization. One is aliasing, using an as, giving a different name, or using a where exist. Apart from these two functions or these 2 points, if you do anything else in the script, the QED optimization will fail. Any questions here? Following me, right? Alpana, safe, Mark. Am I fast? Am I, or is there any difficulty?
No, it's good.
All right, so this is the where exist. Now, when we have to do even the first QED, right? Like I said, our first option is to make sure all the QED loads are QED optimized loads. Now, how do we achieve the QED optimized for the first one without breaking, I mean, though still using a where clause, and tomorrow when I have to add an or, like more territory IDs, how do I avoid this like or clause or struggle? So there is a simple methodology to it. So what you do is in QlikView, you draw out temp tables. So I'll create one temp table. So there is another method of loading data in QlikView. It's not loading data from external source. It is creating a dummy data. So you can load statement. So you can go to insert, load statement. Load from file is a normal load. Load inline. So what QlikView will give you is will give you a wizard table where you can update data. So I'll say ID 1. So over here I'll 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'll just update. So QlikView will create a table, a static hard-coded table, and it will load it into memory. So I'm just loading load star instead of using from the source. The source is an inline like a text file which is hard-coded. Territory ID is the column name, and rest of them are the rows, nothing but values. So whenever you're loading inline, right, the first row, whatever value is there, it is the name of the column, field name, and whatever rest is the values. Now once I have done this, so the temp table gets loaded in memory first, right? So I have the territory. So over here I make sure I have my optimized load. I just use where exist territory ID. Now once this is done, I don't need that temp table, right? So I can drop tables in QlikView. Once I've loaded it, like we saw in the store command, we drop the table. So I will drop the table, temp table. That optimization didn't have because of the if statement. So we'll take that if statement out, the optimization will work. So this is the if statement. Where exist, I've done this, reload. So if you look at it, all the files are optimized. I have dropped, so in my inline, very easily I have limited the data that I want to. So if you look at it in the table that I've created, it's like more easy to update what I want, right? Suppose I don't want 4 and 3. It's so easy for me to do it. So do a temp table, reload it. So only 352, 5. This is what we did earlier also, right? In this case, all the loads are QED optimized. You can quickly add any territory, any number of territory IDs, however you want to. So anytime you have any confusion about the function, right, you can always use these functions. So you can check where exist is there. Okay. So this is something called as conditional. It does not have where exist as a this thing. It just has a function called exist. Or if you have any difficulty, you can always go to the help files and understand it. I think ClickView help files are really indeed helpful. So you can just say where exists. Explains what you can do and how you can do it. Now it's not only for one field that you can do it for two fields. So when you're loading, right, so you can check where exist, employee, and also the field. Now here you can do a concatenation of the field and check it, but you can't do the other way around. So like I said, the source file should have that file. So over here I can't pass the alias name. So if you look at it, the concatenated field has an alias name. I can't pass the alias name in the where exist. So I'm directly concatenating while passing it. So it will check for whatever is there and bring out those employee names. I mean, has everybody worked on SQL joins anytime? I mean, do you understand the concept of joins, or you want me to iterate over the concept of SQL joins? Is anybody not worked on SQL joins? Okay. Safe, Mark? Okay. So good. So I'll just iterate over the concept, general concept, and how it is similar in ClickView also. If you have any different concepts, you can let me know. So there, I mean, in a SQL's typical scenario, there are like, I mean, more than 2 or 4 joins. If I have to say there's something called as join, outer join, inner join, then left join, right join, and there's something called as master outer join, master, I mean left master left join, or I think a couple of more if I'm right, but these are the things that I'm sure of. Right? It's like there is one join, there's one outer join, there's one inner join, left join, right join, master outer join. So in ClickView, there's similarly we have these joins, but very straightforward. We have a join and an outer join. These both are same. We have an inner join, we have a left join, we have right join. We don't have any joins which start with master, or no keywords called master outer join, master left join, or anything like that. So in ClickView there are only, technically there are only 4 joins: outer join, inner join, left join, and right join. So if you consider this table 1 to be your left table and table 2 to be your right table, So if you do an outer join, it basically gives you the combination of both the tables. So wherever the records are there, so if you have 1 to 8 records here and 1 to 9 and in between 9 to 12. So if you, when I do an outer join, so wherever the records are matching, the records update in the same row. Wherever they are not matching, the extra rows will be created, but whichever records are there, it will be blank. So that's the outer join. And in SQL, you say join table 1 and table 2, where table field 1 is equal to table 2 field 1. So you specifically tell that which field to join on, right? So you join on field 1. Even if you are using more fields, you have to specify which are the fields that you have to join. So this is how you do it in SQL. So same thing is for, if you take it for an inner join, what will happen is inner join will just eliminate these rows. Inner join will give you only these 3 records, right? Because only these 3 records are matching. So inner join is going to give you this. And when you do a left join, what will happen is left join is just going to give you these records, because it's going to keep all the records from the left table 1 to 8 and bring the records, match it to the left table. If it is matching, it will assign the values. If it is not, it will drop off. Left joins are also used for filtering data also, right? So when you want to drop off unwanted data. If you want to do a right join, it's the other way around. So it will delete these. Only this table will be there. So if you want, so only this resultant. So it will take the left table, join it to the right table. Whatever matching values, it will put them into one row. Right. So this is the normal process, normal logic of join, and this still is intact in ClickView also. So there is no concept change in ClickView. Only change is the way you write syntax or the way you do a join, but overall concept is same thing. So let's quickly look at it in ClickView terms. I'll just take one sample application. Or here, if I do it in our like the normal application, we'll not be able to realize it. So what I'm doing is I'm starting a small application which has those small tables that I used in Excel file, which will help us understand, okay, quickly that what join is doing and how it is doing. So I have table 1, field 1, tax rate, field 3. Now, I'll just delete this. I'll do an inline load. So for testing, I'm just doing inline loads. So I have this field 1, field 2, field 3. So let's copy this. Now, if you look at this F1, F2, F3, right, I can edit this and create the column name over here. But when I do OK, right, it will just add that column header on the first row. So what I do is, my best practice or my quick method to get over it, instead of going and editing over there, I just create that as is F1, F2, F3. But the moment I delete the first row, whatever is the subsequent row, right, becomes the column headers. So I delete that off. So it is like one of the, easy methods to do it, which I have found out. Not found out, basically use it. You can use this statement. Now let me just start with join first. So when I join it, again ClickView, the syntax is very simple than SQL. So in SQL you have to mention join 1 table, 2 table, where field 1, field 2, all that, a long syntax. In ClickView it's simple. Just say join table 1. Okay. You don't have to even name the second table. So this table, right, it does not even have the name. So if you look at it, it doesn't even have the table 2 as name. It just says whatever is loaded, right, under this join. So it's taking this entire table and joining it to table 1. It is nothing but outer join. So in ClickView, like I said, our join and outer join are same. This is also called as natural join. So it's a trick question in ClickView, in interview also. They will ask you what is the default join in ClickView or what is the natural join in ClickView. So the default join is basically nothing but the outer join. So all three are same thing. So you can use, there is no keyword called natural join. Only thing is you use it as join or outer join, but they term it as natural join also in ClickView. Either you use outer join or just join, it will do the same thing. Table 1 is the table 1, the first table. So I just have to give that field. What ClickView does internally is it uses the associative property of ClickView. You remember the associations happen based on common field names. So the joins also happen on the common field name. So you don't have to mention ClickView which field to join on. If the fields are common, field 1, field 2 is same, right? So the join will happen on this field. If there are 2 or more fields that are common, so the joins will happen on those 2 or more fields. So in SQL you have to mention all those fields, but in ClickView you don't have to mention. Just join table 1, save it, reload. Let's just put up a table box and see what comes out. Like I said, whatever records were matching came in, the first 3 records, 4 and 10, 12. In case you want a inner join, so the keyword changes, the syntax remains the same thing. Technically there is no syntax, but the way you use it remains the same thing. Inner join will give you only 3 records. You want left join, just change the syntax, left join, save it, reload it. Left join is going to give you the records that are matching from the left table. Right join, the syntax is same thing, just right join table 1, save it, reload, join this. It's done a right join. That's only the, yeah, generally I take a day session to cover the joins for people who haven't worked on joins, but I think because you guys have some experience, it's kind of taken me less effort. If you guys have any questions, you can definitely ask me. Now sometimes you might see some syntax you might come across in your development scenario, something like this. There's just a keyword called right join. So the whole syntax is you'll have to write the keyword and write a table name within the braces. Now if you see something like this where there is no table name, what it generally means is it is right joining to the table immediately on top. So this table, the below table, is right joining it to the immediately subsequent preceding table. Now if there is any other table in between, right, table 4, so I'll just say load 1 as test. I'll just say auto generate 1. We'll come back to the syntax later. When I say right join, this right join will not happen on table 1, it will happen to the table 4. So obviously it will fail because there is no field to join on, so the test will fail. So if you come across this kind of syntax where there is only the join statement, it might be right join, left join, or just join. That means it is joining to the subsequent, to the preceding table, basically, whichever is the preceding table. Apart from that, the syntax is the regular one. So right join, you apply the table name. Now that table, you can have hundreds of tables between these 2 tables, but when you specifically mention the name, right, table 1, it will join on table 1. So it doesn't matter where the script is. If you mention the table name, it will join on the one. It will just I just paused. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. What I would suggest is yeah, go ahead and practice this, and then probably we could continue with the next set. So apart from joins, there is with joins there is another concept which I want to explain. But yeah, I would also suggest to practice the joins in ClickView. You can practice it on the main application over here. So sales order detail is there, right? So let's do the join for this. So I can just say join, or I would prefer a left join over here. So if I don't mention any field name, it will join to the sales order header. Let's be precise. I will just name the sales order header. Reload. So the optimization is done, but the left join is happened. So that's why it says sales order header space 1, because that's the left join that's working out. Close, close. Now my fact table is a single table. That's the sales order header, has all the facts. It has the sales order unit, sales order details, product ID, everything. My attributes is product. My second attribute is customer. Sales territory is my another attribute. Now for the customer, there's this person table which has the first name and the last name. Now what I can do is I can run a join on that and make sure that the first name, last name, I'll concatenate it. So concatenation is similar to how you write it, ampersand, it concatenates. Now you need to give space between the names, right? So use single inverted comma, space, ampersand. So it will concatenate first name, space, last name. If you want even the middle name, you can go ahead, add the middle name, but you'll have to add another space. You need the title too, so go ahead, title will be first, ampersand, space, ampersand. You don't need any of these now. As customer name. Now you have this customer name, you don't need a separate customer table over here. What you can do is, you can say left join. Either you leave it blank without any table name, to be precise, update the table name. So I'm used to left join because I want to filter unwanted data. So if you want join, it will still work because we already are filtering data using where exist. So it's your choice. So now I'll do it. So technically I've done the person. Now I'm doing the concatenation, that's why the person table optimization is broken. I can overcome that, but it's okay. So small tables, if you don't want to do QED optimization, it's still okay. But larger tables, I would suggest try to maintain the optimization. Over here, my Snowflake star schema is ready. So I have the fact. So if I rename sales order header as fact, it becomes my fact. I'll term it as sales order header. My product attribute, customer attribute, and sales territory attribute. My suggestion would be go ahead and load all these tables, like whatever tables that I have loaded. Try to use where exist, try to test the where clause where exist, the temp tables, and also try attempt the joins. Tomorrow we'll look at a few other concepts similar to joins, and then we'll continue. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Safe, I am not sure whether you're talking, but I haven't heard you since like the start of the session. As I hope you're following me. So I'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Alpana.
Hello?
Yeah, Saif.
Yeah, I was following. Thank you very much. Everything is fine.
Okay, no problem. No,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. No, I was not sure whether you were talking, so I saw a couple of times mute, unmute, but
Right.
I thought
I think I have something to do with my microphone here. You got it set up.
oh, okay, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I was
okay, no
typing to
problem.
you all the time. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. Thanks, Saif. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.